और सीधा आपको लेकर चलते हैं लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस।
Kashmir Valley. As you are aware, that convoy attack was carried out by Jaish-e-Mohammed of Pakistan, and it was being controlled from Pakistan with active support of ISI and the Pakistan Army. The local commanders, most of them Pakistanis, who were in charge of controlling, coordinating, fabricating and execution of this operation, were the main people of the JEM top leadership in the valley. Since this leadership of the JEM was on a track, ever since this incident happened, and day before night, at midnight, on specific information, we hit this module. And I'm happy to inform the country that in less than 100 hours, we eliminated the JEM leadership in the valley, which was being handled by JEM from Pakistan. The details of the terrorists killed, 2 Pakistani terrorists and 1 local conduit. The terrorists have been shared by you by the police in the yesterday's press release. I would also like to tell one thing to the parents of the local youth, especially the mothers, because I understand and I know in a Kashmiri society, mother has a great role to play. Through you, I would request all the mothers of Kashmir to please request their sons who have joined terrorism to surrender and get back to the mainstream. Anyone who has picked up gun in Kashmir will be eliminated unless he surrenders. And this is a message and a request to all the mothers. Please tell your children to surrender. There is a very good surrender policy being initiated by the government so that they can join the mainstream and pursue with their life and their future course. Otherwise, anyone, as I said earlier, anyone who has picked up a gun will be killed and eliminated unless he surrenders. I also like to inform you that success of this operation within less than 100 hours was a result of complete synergy between all security forces, may it be Army, JKP, SOG, CRPF or the intelligences. We are working in complete cohesion and unison. In the end, once again, with prayer on my lips and pride in my heart, I pay my homage to all the martyrs of 14th February convoy attack and yesterday's operation. And now I request IGP Kashmir and IG CRPF to give their version, and thereafterwards we will take on any questions which you may have. Thank you.
I will just not we had given a detailed press release yesterday, and the detailed press release has been issued yesterday, and I must say that it was an excellent operation. The coordination and the synergy which was reflected on ground, and on specific information this operation was launched, and as we know that 3 top terrorists were eliminated of Jaish-e-Mohammed. Regarding the investigational details of the case, the investigational details of the case will be shared with you as the investigation progresses, and the other findings like the details regarding the recovery and other details we'll also share with the media as and when the investigation progresses. Thank you.
Sir, wait. I would start by paying my deepest homage to the martyred personnel of the Indian Army and the JKP yesterday, and also to the martyred men of the CRPF on the 14th. I would like to assure everyone, and above all the family members of the martyred brave men, that whatever it takes, whatever it costs, we, as the Corps Commander already said, we as a team would ensure that all the people involved in these attacks are booked as per law. We stand by our families, by our martyrs, and I would like to assure everyone of our resolve to take this to its logical end. At the same time, I would, since the media is here, I would like to highlight one phone number, that is 14411 of the Madhya. Our helpline has been helping Kashmiris all over the country in the wake of this attack, and I'm happy to inform that a lot of Kashmiri students have approached this helpline for help all over the country. Everything is under control, and all Kashmiri children studying outside have been taken care of by the security forces all over the country. But still, if there are any issues, I would appeal to them to approach this number for any help they require. Thank you.
सर मैं मनीष सोची न्यूज़ से सर मैं मनीष सोची न्यूज़ से सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो पुलवामा में जो कांड और अटैक हुआ कितने घंटे बीत चुके हैं थोड़ा हमें बताइए कि किस तरीके से जो आतंकियों ने जैश ने प्लानिंग की कैसे इतने ज्यादा एक्सप्लोसिव को इकट्ठा कर पाए क्या वाकई में पहले से कोई इंटेलिजेंस इनपुट था किस तरीके से हमले को अंजाम दिया गया कुछ इस बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन बता सकें
Okay, gentlemen, this is a matter of investigation. The investigation is at a very advanced stage. Although we are aware of a lot of details, but I would not like to share the details at this moment, and I hope you will understand our concern, since all the details are under investigation.
सर कल का जो एनकाउंटर है क्या वजह है कि आर्मी को ज्यादा कैजुअलिटीज का सामना करना पड़ा क्या ये जैश के जो मिलिटेंट थे क्या ये वेल ट्रेन्ड थे या आपकी स्ट्रेटजी में कोई कमी थी बिकॉज यू हैव सफर्ड ह्यूज लॉसेस
ओके जो कल का ऑपरेशन था स्पेसिफिकली क्योंकि जो इंजरीज और जो हमारे मार्टरडम्स हुई हैं मार्टर्स हमारे हुए हैं इसके दो तीन मेन रीजन हैं फर्स्ट वन we did not want the civilian casualties to happen, and as you are aware, other than the one civilian fatal casualty which happened due to the terrorist fire in the initial stages itself, not a single civilian has been injured or killed in this encounter which lasted more than 17 hours, and that is the risk we took it on our chin. And one more thing I would like to tell you, Brigadier Harbeer Singh, who is also injured, he was on leave at home. When he realized that in the midnight the operation has started, he cut short his leave voluntarily, he rejoined, and he came back to Kashmir and went straight to the operational site. And he was leading his men from the front. So including DIG Amit Kumar, again he was leading his men from the front, and you would see the number of casualties of officers and the senior NCOs. It shows one thing, that our commanders were leading the operation from the front, and we were trying to achieve nil civil casualties, which has resulted in casualties to our boys. And I would like to assure you, this will continue, but at the same time, since this question is asked, I also want to convey a message to the Awam. Please stay away from the encounter site, during the encounter and after the encounter, for your own safety, because during the encounter, during the crossfire, something can go wrong. And after the encounter, because of the leftover explosives, it may cause damage or injury or death to anyone who comes to that place. So it's my humble request to everyone, please stay away from the encounter site during and after the encounter. Gentlemen, please, we'll go one by one, we'll take all your questions.
One at a time, I told you I'll moderate the press conference. Please, Mufti Islam.
Sir, are there more challenges of similar kind of attacks like car bombs or Fidain? And how are you going to prevent them? What are the measures in place where you're going to prevent them or stop them?
This type of a car bomb which happened on the CRP convoy on 14th, as you are all aware, it happened after a long time in Kashmir, and with this type of intensity it had not happened earlier. However, similar incidents have happened in the other countries, in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan earlier, and since this modus operandi now has been started by the terrorists, we are alive to it, we are keeping our tracks open, and we are keeping all options open to deal with this type of modus operandi in future.
Nazir, please, sir, please wait. Sir, Nazir,
there are 2 points. One, Kamran and Fad's killing, you said you eliminated the leadership of Jaish. Why did was Kamran mastermind of the suicide attack on CRPF? Number 2, Mr. Zulfikar Hassan, IGP CRPF, talked about the stress Kashmiris are faced outside the country. Army has this Sadbhavna program for last more than 2 decades to win hearts and minds of the people. Whatever is happening because of in the wake of this attack on Kashmiris, is that a setback to your strategy to win back hearts and minds?
First of all, the question about Kamran. Gentlemen, Kamran was Chief Operations Commander of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Kashmir. He was a Pakistani and he was being handled by the Jaish-e-Mohammed of Pakistan in conjunction with ISI and Pakistan Army from across the border. So he was the top commander of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which carried out the 14th February convoy attack. So we have eliminated the top commander of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which carried out the attack. Now who was involved, what was the role of each and every other player in that attack on the convoy, as I told earlier, is a matter of investigation. I would not.
तो सेना, पुलिस और सीआरपीएफ की संयुक्त प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस, जिसमें बताया गया कि किस तरीके से सेना ने पुलवामा में हुए हमले का बदला लिया और ये भी अपील साथ के साथ की गई कि जम्मू कश्मीर के लोग एनकाउंटर साइट से दूर रहें.
lot of effort to bring their sons back, and that helped. So we would also like urge through this platform that the families have a very important role to play, the community has a very important role to play to curtail recruitment. And that is what we are seeing. There was a fear, element of fear in some villages, some places. We see an element of fear where a boy, there is an encounter which is taking place in the house. Then there is also, we have seen the force to join. And that kind of evidence has also come in some cases. So what we would request with the top commanders getting eliminated, the vintage element going out, the terror scenario, the security scenario has actually improved and the terror elements have been crushed. We are giving a very strong investigational measure. We are trying to, the collaborators, those people who are actually co-conspirators in generating this kind of action, this kind of terror incident, we are acting very tough on them. So I'm sure with all this thing, and it will gradually go down.
Gaurav Sawant.
Sir, my name is Gaurav Sawant. I work for India Today. I have two questions, one for the police and the other for the army. Sir, as far as recruitment is concerned, you addressed that. But what was the explosive that was used? How did that explosive come into India? Where was it fabricated? That's investigation part. And radicalization of local boys. Is that a major issue for the army or for the security forces? And how are you dealing with that?
The question about the type of explosive which was used in the investigation, the incident, we have the leads, we have the details, but I would not like to share it here today because the investigation is still going on. Now, second point about the radicalization, as you are all aware, yes, the inimical elements are involved in our radicalization of the youth of Kashmir, but notwithstanding the efforts of the security forces, the efforts of the government, the administration, and the think tank and the opinion makers in the society. It has helped in reducing that methods of radicalization in the recent past, and I will say it is work in progress, and we will continue to put our efforts and attempts towards that effort in a very collective manner. And towards the radicalization, that's a major issue, and the work in progress is there as of now.
No, there is another question for the IG. Let him ask.
As it was mentioned, these are all in the investigational domain now, so we will not like to discuss that, how it happened, where the explosives have come from. All these things are in the domain of investigation. So as soon as the investigation is over, we will bring it to the public domain. Of course, we have credible leads on which we are working.
Wait, ma'am.
The men have outnumbered the
Yes, please, just 1 second, please, ma'am, please.
Thank you. General, my name is Aarti Tikku. I'm an editor with the Times of India. I come from Delhi. My question is, the local recruitment has come down. Has the infiltration increased? Because it seems that there's a huge discrepancy in your assessment of how many militants are present in Kashmir and the number of militants who have been killed in the last couple of years.
So first of all, as was told earlier, the recruitment has come down. Secondly, the infiltration in the recent times, the recent 1 or 2 months, because of the heavy snow and the weather and terrain conditions, has more or less not been there on the LC part of it. Notwithstanding that, there have been infiltration from the other routes, that is from the IB sector and areas south of Jammu, in the area of Samba, Hiranagar and Pathankot sector. That infiltration is continuing and we have reports of that, And there is also an incident of Jajarkotli, which you are aware, which happened. So infiltration is happening. Pakistan is carrying out the infiltration into Kashmir for the results which they want. Notwithstanding that, the number has reduced in the recent past on the LC. And the elimination of terrorists in the hinterland and limited recruitment in the past few months has brought down the number below a threshold in the Kashmir Valley as of today.
Zafar, please wait. Zafar.
I just have a question for you.
Now, after
Sir, there are reports that Adil Dar was detained in the past. How many times he was detained, Adil Dar? Suicide bomber. How many times he was detained and how did he fall from the security radar then?
No, I am not privy to the information that we don't have any such report. There was some speculative report which was there in the media that there was an operation, 2 people killed and 1 person was out. So, but that is not correct. We don't have any such report.
Yeah. There are 2 questions. One, was this an intelligence failure because the corridor was, the convoy was going on, the corridor was not secured as per the SOP of all the agencies involved, one. And the second thing you talked about, the surrender policy. The cousin of this guy who was the bomber, he is in jail in Court Badwan. He has reportedly joined the militancy. He came back to family and he was arrested. He was again arrested after 2 months and now right now he is in Court Badwan. So essentially when you are saying come back and you join the mainstream, it didn't happen in case of his cousin, the bomber's cousin. One is that, and this is the second thing, after this attack happened, there's a whole harassment going on the highway by the armed forces. I went 3 times on this road since past 4 days. People are being asked to come down the car, it's fine, but they are being thrashed also. I have personally seen people getting thrashed, bikers getting thrashed who are traveling on this highway. So what do you have to say about that?
I think you partially answered your question yourself. The first question was, how did this car come onto the highway and other things? As you are aware, before this incident happened, the convoys and the civil traffic used to move alongside, and no one was being checked, no one was being told to stop, no one was being denied any entry into the highway. And this is what you said in the later part, now it is being denied. That means what was happening earlier led to this incident. So I don't agree with that part of thrashing and all. There is no such incident which has come to, if you, let me answer this. I also see things. So as of now, there are certain restrictions which have been put on the movement of the civil traffic when the convoy is moving. We are trying to work out the modalities as to how best it can be streamlined so that no harassment or minimum delay is caused to the civil traffic. Since this has to be put in place, it's early days, we are working out the modalities and it will be passed to the civil and through the civil administration to the complete public so that they can plan their movement accordingly, depending on the convoy movement. As regards what happened in the ROP and other things, the ROP, like I will request IG CRPF, the ROP was well intact. It is just that a stray vehicle can enter from anywhere, which it did enter, and the investigation is going on. But if you like to say something about the ROP part, request you.
On the day you're talking about 14th, the ROP was well laid. There were more than 22 companies doing the ROP that day, apart from the army and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The incident happened because of a vehicle which was laden with an ID. So as the Corps Commander said, we were not stopping traffic. So that led to the incident. The ROP itself was had fully secured the entire national highway. So the SOP was totally followed. Now we are changing and stopping the civilian traffic when the convoy will move. Accordingly, the SOP will be changed to stop the civilian traffic at that stage.
Yeah.
The question about the surrender policy had asked.
Sir,
I'm sorry, I'm asking.
Yeah, just please.
Neha Masi from the Washington Post. Sir, 2 questions. One is, if the top leadership has been eliminated, what is the current strength in the valley now? And as you said, the local recruitment has dipped, but last year was the first time, I think, according to the figures that I have seen, where local militants were higher in number as opposed to foreign militants that were killed. So how do you reconcile this?
So the exact number, another thing is again an operational requirement. So I would not be able to share on this house on that number. But of course, the last year, as you were aware, there were 252 eliminations, and that has also some impact in the sense the vintage element. What is important is that in terrorist circle, if you have old elements who are there, they keep on recruiting people. So when 2018 started, you had a number of top terrorist names. Today when you go to name them, the numbers have significantly reduced. And when these numbers reduce, that has a direct bearing on the recruitment and as well as on the terror actions. So that is how we are trying to tackle it. And as I said before, there is a strong investigational measure which we have introduced and which we have started pushing it. So I'm sure with all these things are going to look good.
Sir, total number of militants इस घाटी में कितने होंगे और उसमें foreign militants की तादाद क्या होगी?
I think he's already answered that question.
Yeah. Sir, you're right.
So you mentioned recruitment has dipped in the past couple of months, but this year nearly 200 militants have been recruited locally. This is the highest.
I mean, the question which has been answered in some form or the other, request not to repeat the same question in a different format. So you can ask something new. Okay, ma'am, please. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, please, if you can speak louder.
Take a mic.
I traveled here from Avanjipura से लेके पुलवामा and श्रीनगर. काफी आदमियों से मैं बात कर चुकी हूँ, तो काफी ऐसा मैसेज आ रहा है, ऐसे ओपिनियंस आ रहे हैं कि फोर्सेस हमें उन पे हैरास कर रही हैं, तो वी आर फोर्सिंग टू गो इनटू दिस टेररिज्म काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. तो इस पे आपका क्या कहना है? तो दूसरा सवाल ये है, तो आपने कहा कि इस काइंड ऑफ जो मोड ऑफ ऑपरेंडी हुआ जैश ए मोहम्मद से कानवार पे अटैक, तो पहली बार आफ्टर 19 इयर्स ऐसा कुछ हुआ है. तो क्या हम लोग टेररिस्ट के मोड ऑफ ऑपरेंडी स्ट्रैटेजीज के आगे हम लोग सोच सकेंगे? उसका क्या स्ट्रैटेजीज होंगे आपके?
मैम, द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन जो आपने बोला कि हैरेसमेंट एंड ऑल, वो प्रोपेगेंडा है एंड एनीवन कैन से एनीथिंग विदाउट एनी प्रूफ. सो आई वुड लाइक टू अगेन टेल द अवाम ऑफ कश्मीर, इस प्रोपेगेंडा का शिकार मत होइए. और दूसरी बात कि जो टेररिस्ट का जो मॉडस ऑपरेंडी का फ्यूचर में आप कैसे टैकल करेंगे, आई थिंक वो क्वेश्चन पहले आंसर हो गया है. जो भी इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं, जो भी हमारे टेररिस्ट की मॉडस ऑपरेंडी या टेक्निक्स हमारे सामने आती हैं, हम लोग उसी तरीके से अपने मॉडस ऑपरेंडी या अपनी तरतीब को बदलते हैं और टेररिस्ट को एलिमिनेशन करने के लिए प्लानिंग करते हैं.
Sir, we take last two questions. Okay.
My question actually was, this year there have been, according to reports, there have been around 200 local recruitments. Last 3-4 months has dipped, but this has, according to reports, this is the highest in almost a decade. Do you see that as a worrying trend? Even though there have been a lot of militant killings also, still 200 according to reports have been recruited.
See, the numbers, as IG साहब ने बताया कि जो numbers कितने हैं, क्या है, वो सब ऑपरेशनल डिटेल्स हैं, उसके बारे में बात नहीं करूंगा. यू हैव सम नंबर, दैट इज वन मैन्स वर्जन. लेकिन जो भी है, जो लोकल रिक्रूटमेंट हो रहा था, खुशी की बात यह है कि अभी पिछले चंद महीनों में वो डाउन हुआ है. तो हमें पॉजिटिव देखने हैं. हम लोग यहाँ बैठकर नेगेटिव्स के ऊपर ध्यान नहीं देते. हम हर चीज को पॉजिटिव एनर्जी और पॉजिटिव तरीके से देख के आगे पॉजिटिव आगे की जो फ्यूचर प्लानिंग है उसके हिसाब से हम प्लान करते हैं.
Abhishek.
Sir, I'm Abhishek Bhalla from India Today. Sir, you mentioned that the attack was being masterminded in Pakistan. It was being controlled by ISI and JEM. Can you elaborate on what local inputs, local people's involvement was there, to what extent, and how many people would be involved?
As I said earlier, the complete attack on the convoy was masterminded by Pakistan and the ISI and the JEM from across the border. What happened from the local content is a matter of investigation. So we have the leads, we are working on them, and we have a lot of details. So, but I would not like to share those details here because of obvious reason.
Thank you very much. Manish.
लगातार रिपोर्ट्स आ रही हैं कि पाकिस्तान की तरफ जो एलसी पर उनका डिप्लॉयमेंट हैवी हुआ है. इस समय टेरर कैंप्स लॉन्चिंग पैड की क्या जानकारी है? कितने एलटीज और एफटीज इस समय साउथ कश्मीर में मौजूद हैं? और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट, क्या आरडीएक्स का इस्तेमाल इस लेथपुरा अटैक में हुआ था?
Coming about information on the Pakistani side, again these are operational details. I would not like to share, and that's it. Thank you very much.
सर ये बताइए, गाजी रशीद जो है, is he different than Kamran? Is Ghazi Rashid different than Kamran, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we have given all the details. I told you, कई गाजी आए, कई